Hello. Today I'd like to talk to you about something a little bit different. Instead of jumping into a new technique, I want to talk about some of the theory to help you understand the structure of your brioche knitting a little bit better and what exactly is going on with your motions. And specifically, I want to talk about a slip-on yarn over. So if you've been knitting brioche for a while, you know that a slip-on yarn over is an essential part of what makes brioche brioche. But for people who are new to brioche knitting, it can be a little bit of a confusing concept. And I know that for regular knitters, exactly what makes a yarn over and why it's called that is also a source of some confusion. So let's start with working on your purl round. So this is the place where new brioche knitters tend to find understanding the slip-on yarn over a little bit easier. So I just completed a purl stitch, and the next thing I need to do is work my slip-on yarn over. So my yarn is already in the front from having worked a purl stitch, and I slip the next stitch purlwise, and I bring the yarn over the top of my needle. Now this wrapping the yarn over my right hand needle is what I think of as the yarn over. Bringing the yarn to the front again in order to set up for my next purl stitch, to me, is a separate motion that is, even though I work them typically together, that is the setup for my purl stitch, not part of my yarn over. So I'll work my purl stitch, and we can talk through that again. So my yarn is in the front, which is always where you start your slip-on yarn over. I slip that stitch, bring my yarn over the top, creating the yarn over, and in a separate maneuver, I bring that yarn to the front. Even though it's one motion, it's two things happening. And then I work my purl. So working this a little bit faster, I have my yarn in the front, I work my slip-on yarn over, my working yarn comes to the front, and I'm ready to purl. So thinking about it that way, that we have our slip and our yarn over, and then we bring the yarn to the front, helps set up a concept that's going to work when we go on to the knit row. So let's do that now. So here I am working my knit round, or my light color round, and the first thing I have to do is work my brioche knit stitch. Now my yarn is in the back, and if I'm setting up to do a slip-on yarn over, I need to bring the yarn to the front in between the needles. Now the slip-on yarn over involves slipping that next stitch purlwise and bringing the yarn over the top. Then I knit into that next stitch. Now for many new brioche knitters, the easiest way to think about this is to bring the yarn to the front, slip, and then simply knit the next stitch. And they don't think about the fact that in doing that, they are both creating their knit stitch and bringing the yarn over the top and creating their yarn over, which is part of the slip-on yarn over. So we are bringing the yarn to the front, slipping, bringing the yarn over the top and ready to knit in the same way we did on the purl row. The only difference is that we are not bringing the yarn to the front again in order to purl. We're keeping it in the back so that we're ready to knit. So while this slip-on yarn over may feel like a different motion, if you break it down, that this slip and bringing the yarn over the top is the slip-on yarn over, and whether you are setting up for a knit stitch or a purl stitch determines what you do after that. It becomes the same motion for both knit and purl rounds. So I hope this helps you understand the anatomy of your stitches just a little bit better and the logic of that motion. And the same thing applies to regular knitting when you're not doing brioche, when you're working just a regular yarn over, maybe for lace. If you bring the yarn to the front, that is the setup for your yarn over. You are bringing the yarn over the top. That is working the yarn over, and then whether you are going to knit or purl afterward determines whether you keep the yarn in the back or you bring it to the front again. So whether you're knitting brioche or lace or any other kind of project, I hope this gives you a little bit deeper understanding of what you're doing and how your stitches are working. Thank you for watching.